So this is the ICG Safety App. I think this is one of the most amazing things to come out of our union. I mean, there are many amazing things to come out of our union, but this is really incredible. And for the record, I don't know who's had this opportunity, but if you discuss this with other locals, most of them will say to me, why don't we have something like that? And I would say, yeah, go talk to your local and find out why you don't have something like that. So you open it up and you obviously have a bunch of things here. The first thing right off the bat is at the bottom, call ICG Safety Hotline. So you can click that and your phone will obviously call. So there is a thing we're going to get to in the end where you can put information in, and that's important, but not for serious emergencies that you really need attention right now. If you need attention right now, ICG Safety Hotline is where you want to go. Obviously, you want to talk to the ADs on set, other things, but if you can't, that's where you go. So the first thing up is your studio safety numbers, pretty self-explanatory. These are most of the studios and their safety departments, so you can call them. I personally would suggest if there's a real emergency, obviously, get it taken care of, call ICG Safety, but also let these studios know, because what I've found in talking to people just about quote-unquote minor things, and when I say minor things, I don't mean the set is on fire. I mean sort of like longer hours and things like that, which I think are equally as important. It's not because people are sort of going, well, we don't care. It's because they don't recognize it. So sometimes making them aware is the first step. Next up is safety frequently asked questions. This is basically where things will be put up over time as the safety working group comes up with things as radio frequency, specialized work assignments, hazard pay. For instance, I don't know if everybody knows this, but hazard pay, a lot of people think like, oh, I get a monetary bump because I'm doing something unsafe, which doesn't make sense to me, but that's another issue. But if that's all it was, I would go, well, why are we doing something unsafe? But you immediately, I think retroactively or something like that, puts in a policy. I think it's $250,000. It's written in there. So there's actually something to that, and there's information about that in here. The safety bulletins, there's a lot of information in here, and I mean these are actually really good because I've actually been on insert cards where something's been done wrong, and I've pulled this up and went to the AD and go, do you recognize that it says this in the safety bulletin? And they've gone, oh, because that's sort of also if they really don't know or they're not paying attention, they should be. But that right there, you've got it written down. And the nice thing is this is actually in the app, so you don't need to be connected to the phone or whatever to do that. Workplace harassment and discrimination. Pop that open. You've got all sorts of information, again, letters and whatnot about what the consequences of that, what you should be looking for, et cetera, et cetera. One thing that I actually did not realize was in here, I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not sure when it came in here, is the workplace accident or illness to-do list, which actually is really kind of cool because the bottom line is if an accident happens on set, you're not going, oh, I know I've got my list of things that I should do, and remember this is something that you can actually go through here and pop down and go, these are the things I need to cross off my list to make sure that the paperwork is in place so that if you God forbid, have disability or whatever, the things are done correctly. I mean, theoretically, if you're the one in the accident, hopefully you're not doing this, but you're doing this for someone else, obviously. But this is like right at your fingertips, which I think is fantastic. Safety articles is sort of like the FAQs. It's, again, there's RF transmitters. It's as we progress and get more information and that we want to get out to members, it's there. So, look in there occasionally, find out what's in there. Bottom of here in the blue is to me the meat of this entire thing. The report long hours or other hazards. So far since this has happened, since this has been created, I think the number is 53, 54 things have come into the union. These are non-emergency situations, obviously, right? Even though we think that they're important, we want them acted on, it's not the set is on fire or I'm being pushed over a cliff or something like that. And right at the top you can say, it says, again, if this is an emergency, call the ICG Safety Hotline. You can hit the blue ICG Safety Hotline. It'll call it for you, okay? So, but this is really about letting the union know what's happening out there. And the bottom line is the union is only as good as we are in letting them know what they need to work on, and what we need to work on, I should say. And I don't mean we, I mean we, all of us. Because this is a way to go, X, Y, and Z Productions is working their crew 16 hours a day. And we need to contact them. And they're doing it repeatedly because we've had 42 different things over the past 3 years telling us that. This is a way of collecting information so we can contact those people and not to go to the negative, as Rebecca just pointed out, which I've done myself personally. It's a great way to say to a production, hey, because you can put this in here, and we'll go through that, is, hey, this production is getting us out in 12 hours. I just worked on NCIS LA, which, depending on who you are, is the show that everybody in town would want to work on, because on Friday they went home at 4:30, and that was at the end of a full day of a full week. And it's like the #2 show on television, so they're not suffering because of that. So there are players that are doing this, and it's great to do that. So basically, it's pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to go through it here. So name, I'm going to put my name in. I'm not going to tell you my full last name. I'll say, well, why not? You can put in anonymous here. It's obviously better if you put your name in and I say own it. But if you feel uncomfortable with that, you can put in anonymous. You can also put in my name if you'd like, and people will call me and I'll say, I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to put my phone number here. Again, put in a fake phone number if you're uncomfortable with that. I'm not suggesting that, but it is, the important thing is that you use the app, not that your information is in there. Email, I'm going to put in my email. Probably going to type it wrong. Gmail, let's see, I'm not even putting it right. So select your work state. Obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory. I'm putting in California. Production, I'm going to call this, what is this? This is the Bigliest Union. And then you can go down the hazard. You can click on that, and you go long hours, air quality, insert car. Most of the things that have come in, by the way, statistically, are long hours reports. There have been some air quality, and these have resulted in our reps going out to making calls, and if not, going out to the sets. I know on 2 occasions or maybe 3 occasions, they within the next day went out to New Mexico to right a wrong that was happening. So things happen. Yeah, obviously you can put in the date. You can put in a brief description of what it is. I'm going to put in here, I hear New York has better, whatever, pastries, because I need that taken care of immediately. Comments again. Now, when you're putting that in there, one of the things that you obviously don't have the ability to put in this app, in this input, is the city that you're working in, because there'd be like 9 trillion cities. But it's a really good idea to put the cities in here, just because the more information that they have, the better. Also, by the way, if you're putting in long hours, a lot of people say, well, what are long hours? Long hours are whatever you determine long hours to be. If you want to put in, I worked a 7-hour day, chances are the union is not going to come out. but if you want to put in, I worked a 9-hour day, but we had a huge turnaround to nights, and I had a 4-hour drive on either side, I think that's information that they should know, right? I had a 2.5-hour drive to location, and they didn't bus us, and we were 7 a.m. on Thursday, we were 9 p.m. on Friday. That makes a difference. So whatever you think is pertinent information that's problematic, let the folks who get it decide if that is. There's a little gizmo at the bottom that says for data reporting only. I'm going to submit this because I really think we need better pastries over here. Not to be negative to anybody. It says thank you very much for your submission, and within a couple of minutes someone's going to be going out and getting pastries, I'm sure, for something for us here. But at the bottom there, let me open it back up because it closed.
Got it.
Oh, okay. So you're going to run out and get better. Do you want to take a...
Joanna?
Okay. But there you go. What was that? A minute? So now he's calling the head of the hall and saying, we've got a real problem here. Or better yet, maybe just get New York to get rid of their pastries and get us on a level.
Just send them here.
It's a deli issue.
We'll
So
be here.
at the bottom you can put for data reporting only. The reason you put for data reporting only, here's the deal. We worked 12 hours today. It was not a crazy long day, but I think I want you to know that, because I just want you to know that this production this is what they're worth. So you can put for data purposes only. That means I don't need a call back. I'm just doing my part as the union member to let you know what's going on out there. And it's pretty self-explanatory, but I think this is a really powerful tool. I don't want to take too long, so I'll finish up with a couple of things here. This is the 3rd version. There were some hiccups in the first 2 versions. The way we found out those hiccups is by people using the app. The app doesn't get better if people don't use it. As a matter of fact, the app dies if people don't use it. So use it. I mean, don't find reasons, but let's face it, there are reasons to do this out there. Personally speaking, I've put in 12-hour days, I've put in 13-hour days for data purposes only. Okay, here you know what it is, X, Y, and Z. But the more that you use it, the better that we can make it. And if you have ideas of what's not in there, let us know. Maybe it's a good idea, maybe it's not. Is anybody here new to the union? Like within the past 6 months? Okay, so you're in an amazing situation because you are now in a union where this is normal. When I started the union 5 years ago, no, as you can see, I started the union a lot longer ago. There was nothing like this, and nobody talked about this. This is an amazing thing. Now, I'm a Steadicam operator, okay? And I don't know what most people got in, but let's say you're getting in as a loader. And a lot of people, number one, will say, well, you know, I'm sort of low on the totem pole. I don't want to make noise. Make noise. If you don't want to talk to production, I totally get it, because you're new and you don't want to, I don't want to, talk to me. Talk to your director of photography. It's our jobs, as well as your job, by the way, to make these problems known. But the other thing, and I always say this to my crews, I don't like that word, I'm sorry. They're not my crews. The crews that I'm a part of, the camera crew that I'm working with, is this. You may be a loader, you may never have been on a set before, but I'm hoping that if people that I'm with have hired you, you're not an idiot. And if you're not an idiot, you can look at me while I'm all excited about a shot that I'm getting and I'm right next to an edge or whatever, and come up to me and go, you know, that looks pretty stupid. You look like you could fall over that edge. Why is it? Like, common sense is the answer to most of this. And the biggest part of this is keeping your eyes open and talking to each other. So yes, I've got 25 years in. I've seen a lot of stuff. I know what to look for. But I also have 25 years in of always doing the exact same thing, right? You are new to the union. You are out there looking with fresh eyes. You are also, by the way, while I'm operating a shot, standing back and watching the entire situation from a situation that I can't see. So I need you to speak to me, just like you need me to look out for you. So we're only sort of as strong as our weakest link here. And the other thing I would throw in there is, don't go out there thinking that production is against you and wants to kill you. I honestly, I've never met a production manager who wants me dead. I met one production, but that was after we spoke for a while, and it was my fault probably. But they really don't. They may be looking past things. They may not be doing their job, etc. But a lot of times I'll go up to ADs and I'll go, so we didn't have a safety meeting this morning. Like, what's up? Well, you know, okay, but if there's a fire and nobody knows where to go and we can't do a head count, you're the one who's in trouble here. So we should have that safety meeting so you're covered, right? And some of them will, I mean, you know, some of them you can't reach, but some of them will go, I never thought about it. Yeah, well, that's why you need to do it. So again, that's just common sense, but it's looking at it a different way. So we need to speak up. You know, the stickers and the t-shirts are all fantastic, and we need to get this out there, and we need other unions. Every union should have the exact same thing. But they don't save people. What saves people is us looking out for each other, and us keeping an eye on each other, and us, most importantly, speaking up, no matter what the consequences are. So I would ask every single person here, when you go to work on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, and every job you go on, to ask every single member of the camera crew, do you have the safety app? And if they don't, ask them why not and tell them why they should have it. This is how this happens. As of right now, and I don't remember the number offhand, I think there are like 1,800 downloads between Google and Apple. There are roughly 6,300 members who are active members, so you know the retired members, I can understand them not having it. Of the 6,300, there are 100 people, maybe I'm throwing this out there, that I have immense respect for because they will refuse to have a smartphone, and I love that about them. But the 6,200 who have smartphones, there should, by tomorrow morning, there should be 6,200 downloads on these two things, because everybody should have this. I'm going to look at my cheat sheet here. I think that that's about all I have. So bottom line is, I think, you know, it's incumbent on all of us in this room and all of us in all the other rooms that are watching to spread this, because it's pointless for the union to have done something this incredible, and it really is incredible, and it not be used, and it not be accessed, and it not be had. So please, you know, be safe, be heard, speak up, and please don't try to get into my phone now that you know my code.
Great.